Welcome to the Midnight Entrepreneur. I'm your host, Easton Bennett, alongside my fellow co-host, Tyler and Easton. We are both entrepreneurs who are learning, growing, and building our own businesses, and our goal is to share our experience and knowledge to help you grow and become a successful entrepreneur. Strap in. Tyler, what's going on, my man? Strap in. I just realized the strap in. I kind of like that part of the intro.
Yeah, I do too. I don't know if I put that in or you put that in or my uncle helped me with that or what it was, but yeah.
You did the nice strap. I did the in part. You're like, I got a strap, but I don't really know what to put after that. I'm like, let's try in. In would be a good one. Teamwork. Yeah, I think you had strap out. I think you had strap out to start. I was like,
yeah, something odd.
It's not really working. Like
flow.
It doesn't. Yeah, it's not really coming off the tongue well.
Yeah, we figured it out.
Yeah. So what have you been up to? What's in the last week? What have anything new come up?
Not too much. I finished this video that we filmed of us doing our lifestyle photo shoot in our very first startup stages. It was like one of the coldest days of the year. I think I'm saying this out loud. It feels like I've said it before, but we recorded the day somewhat, and it's only been a year, and I finally put it all together. And we're trying to post more content with Nuevo and just getting out there, and finally got that wrapped up. We posted it to YouTube. Unfortunately, it did not go viral, and we're not rich. So
right.
I think another thing that we're going to be doing is creating a few more videos moving forward. One wrapping up November, and maybe one that you'll be able to help out with that you do kind of know about, but it's just been in the back burner.
Let's make a pact right now that January is the month that we're going to finally finish this project we've been talking about. Because we get to a certain point, we're like, all right, let's do it. Sounds good. And then a week goes by and we're like, forgot that was even a thing that we were talking about.
More like a month.
Yeah.
A month goes by and it's like, maybe we should reconvene.
Yeah. January is a month. We'll do it in January. Also, one thing I was thinking about when you were going into that, I think at the beginning of the episode, just because you said we were doing a lifestyle photo shoot for XYZ, for the new listeners at the beginning of the episode, I'll start saying, I'm Easton Bennett. I run a video production company that focuses in creating commercials and website content and social media content for businesses. And then you can go into your, I'm Tyler Sinden, whatever your pitch can be.
Okay.
So you don't have to have your pitch now, but next week we'll do a quick two sentences. I get a sentence, you get a sentence of what we do.
I'm trying to think of what I would say, but okay.
I am Tyler. Just that.
Something like that.
3 words.
I like it.
But no, that's good. You showed me the video. The video looked good. The only thing I said is that I'd add a voiceover. The voiceover I thought made it much better, and it's good. But yeah, going viral on YouTube, it's a little tough.
Yeah, I appreciate the feedback. What's going on with you?
I got confirmation today that on the Mind Up Business podcast, the sponsor that we currently have wants to renew for a whole year. So 48 episodes, $100 an episode. So that's kind of exciting news that I found out today. It's a little bit nerve wracking because now I have to commit to 48 more episodes for sure. Not that I wasn't going to anyways, but now it's like, oh, now you really have to do it if people are going to pay you. So that was exciting news. And then I can't remember if last week we talked about that merger type deal that I was talking about or no.
You were having the meeting, I think, in the next day or so. So I don't think you haven't updated completely.
Okay, yeah, because we filmed on Tuesday and I had the meeting on Wednesday.
Yep.
Gotcha. So the meeting went well. Basically, this gentleman is looking to move all of his clients, his 10 years worth of clients, onto somebody else, onto a different video production company, because he's going into more of the entertainment side, films and TV series. So he's looking for a transition there. So we had a meeting and we kind of agreed that this is the right fit, the right partnership moving forward. And I'm going to start coming on and doing more of the production and post-production side of things. He'll do a lot of the client relationship, client management, and kind of introduce me. And it'll be more of a partnership. And then hopefully after a year, he is out of the ad agency, and these clients will then start to work with me. So that's exciting. There's going to be a lot more meetings down the road, logistics wise. I know that we've talked about percentages. If a client stays on, is there a 3-year deal where it's maybe you get 30% the first year, then 10% the second year, and then 5% the third year, whatever that might be. So we're going to have conversations like that. But I think it's going to be super beneficial for my company. It's going to allow us to expand, potentially hire on some full-time people, which is exciting, but also nerve-wracking. But that's kind of where we're sitting with that. We have a meeting next week. So in 2 episodes from now, we'll have more to touch on that end.
So you guys did come to an agreement?
Yeah,
we're gonna. I even knew this.
Yep, and that's why I actually didn't tell you because I was saving it for the show. So we came to an agreement that we're going to start in January, just on a couple one-off projects, the bigger clients. So let's say he has a client and their yearly budget is $10,000. He's gonna put together the proposal of what they can do for the year. He's gonna send it to me and say, hey, what can you produce on this side of things? For this price, whatever it might be, and then we'll have that yearly budget set and the projects that we're doing set. So we're going to start with the bigger clients. And then once we get the bigger clients locked in, we're going to move to the medium clients, see what they want to do for the year, and then go to the one-off clients or the smaller clients and figure out a plan there. And then the only other thing is that he might potentially come on to some of my projects to help with either selling, going into meetings with me, with my clients, pitching ideas and that kind of stuff, because he's pretty good at the business side of things and selling and raising his prices. So I think he'd be super valuable in that sense. And he said he wants to provide as much value to my clients as he can. And then in turn, maybe not charge the highest of high rates for the productions that he's doing on his end. So it's kind of a, I scratch your back, you scratch mine kind of deal. And I'm excited to see how it goes. But January is kind of when we'll get started. And then next week we have another meeting discussing. He's gonna, show me his documents, his top clients, kind of what they've been doing, and then I'm gonna come in with my top clients, and we're gonna have a hash out session, see what we can do.
Nice, that's awesome.
Yeah.
How was this whole experience? Because I feel like this is one of your biggest things that happened with your business and over the years, and it's moving you, I think, in the direction that you want to be going. How was this whole process?
I think it's definitely a needle mover, like you said. There were some things that I had to learn as I was going. I asked my uncle, who's been in business for many, many years, about some different ways to go, how to approach the situation, some different partnerships that might make sense for both of us. And really, it just seemed to be a natural fit. We both knew that we worked similar, and just going in, being honest and clear up front of, hey, this is where I want my business to get. And he says, this is where I want my business to get. And we just discussed, is this the best partnership? And just being honest about our own numbers, our own goals, the way we like to work, it really just kind of fell together. Whereas if you were trying to make it more of a negotiation, like, well, I want this and I want this, it might have been a little bit more difficult. There are deals you have to do like that, but this was more of just a mutual understanding, like, hey, it's beneficial for both of us, so let's just do it.
Right on. I think we'll come back in maybe a year and see how everything panned out.
Yeah, and that's the thing. He wants it to be a 1-year transition, which is a little bit nerve-wracking, but I don't know if not nerve-wracking, but I don't know if you can get it done in a year. We'll figure it out. Hopefully you can get done in a year. That'd be ideal, but we'll see how it goes.
Nice. Well, that's exciting to hear.
Yeah.
Congrats.
No, thank you very much. I appreciate it. And you'll be, what I was thinking is all of these extra projects might need to bring on more help. So, I don't know how it works, paying people in Canada, but there may be some freelance opportunities for Tyler Sinden in the near future.
Perfect.
Via Bennett Creative Media.
I'll be on my way.
Exactly. So that, and then I know we were talking about the retainer deal. I don't know if it was last week or 2 weeks ago with the gentleman in Fargo. That is moving forward. I think we're going to move forward with 6 months and just rock and roll with that. We have a meeting either tomorrow or Thursday. We haven't set it in stone yet, but we're looking at doing that for the first 6 months of 2023 and seeing if we can really blow up that brand. So that's exciting. So I'll be taking a trip to the east side of the state, probably once a month, I would say, maybe a couple times a month.
Did you say east side of the state? Oh yeah, Fargo.
Yeah, Fargo. Yeah. Just a fancy way to say the big wigs down there in the Fargo, Grand Forks area.
When you said east side, I was just thinking like coming out towards, where I'm at,
Yeah, you're like, oh, you're
New
going
York
to Halifax?
type of, oh, maybe America, but out in New York, Maine,
tomato.
Those.
And then my search for a Vegas client has really been halted lately, but I'm going to get back on that train. I kind of just put that on the back burner while I was figuring out these other sneeze, bless you, while I was figuring out these other deals. So that's kind of where we're at, but that's the goal. I actually talked with a lady, and she might have a connection to some sort of Vegas client that can get my foot in the door. So she's a lady that would be unbelievable. That'd be awesome. She came over and she dropped off a check for a project we were doing, and we were just kind of chatting, and she brought up the fact that her dad has been doing this for quite some time, and they used to do advertising at I can't remember what it's called, like Nellis Air Force Base in Vegas or something.
Yeah.
And so they have a connection to Vegas. I was like, dang. So if you can get my foot in the door with any of those clients. So that's something I'll have to follow up on in the new year. But yeah, that's kind of all that's going on my end.
Nice. Got a lot of stuff going on right before the New Year's approaching.
Yeah, which is good. You know, for a little bit there, it was a little stagnant, but you learn that that's kind of how it goes in business. You know, sometimes you hit ruts, sometimes you hit highs and you get busy, but it's been good.
That's the flow of business, ups and downs.
Exactly. It's, you know, some people want to rip their hair out because of it.
As long as you're consistently going up.
Exactly. Is there anything else you want to touch on your end? Otherwise, we'll get into this week's topic.
I think we can jump right in.
Perfect. So this week's topic, branding versus selling. This is one thing that I have a lot of conversations with my client about this. Not my client, but my clients, plural. The difference between them and the importance of both of them. And just to get started, as an introduction, pretty much what I mean is I'm focusing more on the content side of things. If you're creating content, you can create it for branding your brand and, you know, how you are seen to the consumer and the public. And then there's selling, where it's strictly, we need sales off of this piece of content. We're going to go into a little bit more of branding and selling as a whole, just business-wise as a whole, but that's really where this stemmed from. So, Tyler, what do you think the importance of having a solid brand is?
It's extremely important, Easton. I don't know. I don't really know what else to say about that. That's where you generate your trust, your brand awareness. People come to know and expect that product. When they go to, say, Apple, they know exactly what they're going to be getting. Whereas if they go to a different knockoff company that is sourced out of China, you have no idea what you're going to get. So branding's huge, man.
I'm going to say my thoughts on it, and then you can kind of give me how you think you should. But I think you need to start with a smaller community, people you trust that can start to spread the word. You have to start really internally. You know, if you have a product that you're selling, start with your friends, your family, people that are close to you, and just have them spread the word. Once they start spreading it, you know, making sure they leave reviews. They're just telling people good things about it, the quality, you know, the customer service, all of the above. If it starts smaller and then grows from everybody else's audience, that's a good way to do it. I know in my business, for example, the service-based business, I just made sure that my clients, the first clients that I worked with, had the best product that I could possibly give them. If they have the best product possible, yeah, I might not have a ton of reviews or not have my name out there huge, but those people are eventually going to talk to somebody, because business people know business people. And if you're giving them the best quality product, eventually it might take a long time, but it's gonna get out there. But what are your thoughts? How do you think you start from, you know, having no trust, no brand at all, to people believing you're a trustworthy company and having some loyal customers?
I think a lot goes into what you said. Basically, you have to go above and beyond. You have to under promise, over deliver, maybe even over promise, over deliver. But I don't think you should do that, but under promise, over deliver, and making sure that you are absolutely wowing them. They're getting more than they paid for. They feel awkward paying as low as that you charged for the product that you're giving them, because that instills repeat customers where they're going to come back. They're going to be like, this was amazing. I really want to get this again. And then hopefully that leads to them leaving reviews. I think depending on what you offer, offering a money back guarantee on your website, say if you're not satisfied, or try it for X amount of days, then if you're not satisfied, you can return it. I don't know if you've ever offered this. Maybe that would be something that you could implement, where it's like a money back guarantee. If you're not satisfied with your video, well, I'll give it to you for free. And, you know, you might have to figure out ways to establish why would you not be satisfied. But at the same time, whenever you give the product to them, you offer the revision. So, and then at the same time, customer service, because you're just starting out, you most likely don't have a lot of orders or a lot of business going on. So you have one thing that you do have on your side is time, and you want to be able to make sure that you're dedicating that time appropriately to give the best service, best product possible to the people that are buying from you currently, so they can talk about it, rave about it, and tell their friends and family. And I think reviews too.
Yeah, reviews are huge. I didn't realize that when I was starting, but after every client I have now, I send them a, hey, thanks for doing business with me. If you could leave a review, it really helps us. Sometimes I forget, but I try to get as many reviews as I can. I think another important thing is I had it. What the fuck is it? Oh, I think another important thing is the first impression. A lot of people talk about you only get one first impression. If somebody has a bad taste in their mouth from the first time they work with you, whether it's a service-based business or it's a retail product, that's going to get out there. People are going to talk about that. They're not going to want to come back. And the first impression, especially in your first original clients, the first 5 to 10 people that you are serving, those have to be the best clients that you ever have in your business ever. You have to go above and beyond for everything. Like you said, under promise, over deliver. What would you say about that?
Yeah, I agree. I think it comes back to, what were we just talking about?
Under promise, over deliver, and first impressions.
First impressions. Yeah, I had something to that. Oh yeah, it's tough for them to get that bad taste out of their mouth when they have, say, that first product that you gave them, or, you know, that first experience with your brand, and it was extremely poor. It's tough for them to come back and want to or expect a better product or a better service, better experience after they got that really poor service or experience that first time. So that first impression can last a lifetime. So if you give them a really good experience that first time, give them a really good product, much more likely to come back. And if it's not good, it's tough to wash that away.
I'm a big advocate of the client or customer process and their experience. That's one thing I always try to revamp as much as possible when I'm working with my clients on how the pre-production process looks for them, how the post-production process looks, how the delivery looks. I think if the client has a good experience on all of those ends, it's really going to help a ton. And when I was starting my business, I wish I would have known beforehand that these are things I need to think about before I start offering services to clients and have these in place. So my brand is the way it is from the beginning. It didn't hurt me because I, eventually transitioned to it. But if I was giving advice to someone that was starting a new business, figure out that client process, that client experience, and how you want that customer to feel before you even get started, because that's going to give you a leg up on getting those first good impressions down.
What's your aim for your client experience? What's your goal? Do you have an outline of it?
Yeah. So I give the most professional video I can get. So I want if the video is professional looking and everything's clean, sharp, the experience working with me on set is fun and, professional, then I want the other things to be professional too. So when I'm doing pre-production, I make sure, hey, you're going to get a lot of documents. You're going to get a professional looking contract. You're going to get a professional looking call sheet like you would be on a Hollywood movie. You're going to get a full schedule. You're going to get prepped interview questions, all of that. You're going to get all this stuff. You could even go into doing, storyboarding and scripting and that kind of thing. I stay away from that because it takes so much time. If you're good at talking in person over an idea like, hey, this is what it's going to look like, and painting that picture, then awesome. But really having all of those things in the beginning, saying you're going to get these documents, you're going to get the contracts, you're going to get the questions, the call sheets, you're going to know who's on set, all of this. In the beginning, they're going to be like, wow, this is, a professional setup. We're paying good money, so we should be getting a good service. So that's how I do it on the pre-production side. Post-production, hey, you're going to get follow-up emails. It's going to be like, hey, we're working on your video. It's going to be done, XYZ day, or we'll get to it next week. You can expect it by this time. And then when I deliver the video, instead of just saying, hey, here's your video and send them a Dropbox link or whatever it might be, I create a custom backend website page where it's, bennettcreativemedia.com/company name. And they can go to that link and they can see all of their content on the page. It's the video. You can click it and watch it right there. There's a download video button right below it. So they get this whole custom tailored experience because if you are paying a large amount of money, you want to feel like they're going above and beyond to service you. So those are the things I've implemented to have the best customer experience. I'm trying to add to it as much as I can, but I really think that's important rather than, hey, we'll show up and shoot it. I got the idea in my head, and then just give them a flash drive for the end video.
I like that. Do you, kind of random question, but do you ever have clients that talk about previous videographers that they worked with and they weren't really happy, or do you have any client situations like that?
It's came up a couple times. No one's ever said any names, but there have been a couple times where it's like, hey, we were working with an old video production company and we didn't really like how they worked, or we had a bad experience with them. Maybe we had a bad meeting and whatever it might be. So there are times, but nothing's ever been identifiable to who the person was or why they went wrong. It's pretty much just like, we had a bad taste in our mouth from working with them.
And do you ever hear back from them saying this was so much better, or anything like that?
No, I don't think they ever compare it to the old company they use, but a lot of times you'll get a text or an email, whatever it might be, after you deliver it and say, hey, this video is awesome. We really like it. Maybe there's like, can we change the end card to have our phone number on it, whatever it might be. So that's the majority of the time. It's the feedback is like, hey, this is great. We really like the video. Here's the small revisions, or, hey, this is great. How do we use it? And then it's just, hey, download the video. But a lot of times, there's small minor revisions and they like it. Or if they aren't super satisfied with it, they say, we're on the right page. Here's a list of things to make it better, whatever it might be. So I don't know. It's really hit or miss, but I haven't ever had a client that's like, we hate this. This isn't what we were expecting. And kind of really didn't like the video. I've never really ran into that.
Just be like, awesome. Glad you really liked it. Here's a link to go and review me, please.
Yeah. You're like, perfect. Thank you. Here's the invoice. If you could pay that quickly, that would be ideal.
Because that always happens.
Yeah. But what about you on a retail side of things? What are you looking to do? What have you implemented for Nuevo to have a good customer experience?
We're trying to create or I wouldn't say we have workflows to, try and make them feel like they're a part of the brand. Like they know what's going on. They have an idea of what we stand for, what we want to promote, and, our values and all that. So a lot of the stuff is with our emails and workflows and follow-ups, and we haven't had a situation where anyone's reached out. So, but if that did happen, we would be on top of it, and we would try and please them as much as possible, go above and beyond. But fortunately, we haven't had that yet, which I guess is a good thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think it's just, I don't know. I think that's something for us to start thinking about more into the future of where we want to go. And that's coming up on this new year. Is one thing that we will be doing is trying to maybe create more of an experience, making people feel like they can be involved with us and that they can be a part of something more than just another company. So that's going to be some of our goals trying to move forward.
Which is good. I think you should always be revamping the way you do things. Always reevaluate. What can we add? What can we take out to make this better? Where are clients getting hung up? How can we make this the best possible experience for the client? So that's good. Pivoting a little bit into, I know on here you have becoming a verb.
Oh, I want to say something.
Okay.
I guess.
Hey, the floor is yours, man.
Thanks, man.
Sorry, I cut you off.
I don't know. You just made me think of something, because one time we had first guy that ever paid for priority shipping. He bought it and paid for priority shipping. I'm like, shit. Okay. And what I ended up doing was packaging that order that day and then shipping the order out that day. So I could have waited the next day like we typically do, but since it was the first guy that paid for priority shipping, I'm like, and it was the weekend. So it was like, I could either wait till Sunday and then maybe they'll ship it on Monday. But if I bring it in today, maybe they'll ship it today or tomorrow, and then he'll be able to get it early because he paid for priority shipping. So I was just trying to go above and beyond. I have the time. So why not go out and try and do it the best I can?
It comes down to just caring about your customer or client. I know Gary Vee has this story he tells all the time about there was a guy that bought a few cases of wine, whatever it was. He found out the guy was a Cowboys fan, I think, or no, not a Cowboys fan. He was a Bears fan, and he got this guy's address, obviously from the wine thing, and he bought him a signed Bears jersey and just sent it to him. He said, I'm going to go above and beyond to just make this guy's day. And he said he didn't hear about anything for like over a year. And he said, that guy's kind of like, what the hell? I sent him a signed Bears jersey and didn't say shit about it. And he said a year later, a client came up to him and they ordered a bunch of wine saying, hey, a long time ago, you bought my buddy a signed Bears jersey after he bought wine. And this man bought like a shit ton of wine because of it. And then he left a note and said, P.S. I'm an AC/DC fan or whatever it is. So he was like asking for tickets, but eventually down the road, it came back and it helped him. And he went into it thinking that he was going to get some sort of praise. And then his whole memo of the story is that go into things without expectation. If you just care about someone and you do something for them, it's going to help you in the long run. I know there have been times where if I have a morning shoot, I'll go grab a box of donuts for the set. Whoever wants donuts on set, have a donut. It cost me $12 for 12 donuts, but it makes you think, man, they really care. They put in the extra effort to go to the grocery store and get donuts for the office, whatever it might be. So not to pat myself on the back there, but there are things if you go above and beyond.
I like that idea though.
Yeah.
Because we do have addresses, so we don't have that information where, this guy's a Leafs fan or that guy's a Montreal fan. But I think that's really cool to think outside the box and do something like that, because we do have these guys' addresses. We could easily ship them other stuff and be like, thanks for being a part of the community. Yeah.
And that's something that people aren't looking. They're like, they have no idea that this is even a thing. They don't expect it. The jersey shows up in the mail and they're like, damn, Nuevo is a sick company. Like all I did was buy a wallet from them and they sent me this. They sent me tickets to a Leafs game, whatever it is. So yeah, if you can go above and beyond, that's a little bit better than the donuts I buy here and there. But little surprises help.
That's true.
So on here, you have becoming a verb or a noun, Google it, or let's get an Uber, or let's Uber somewhere, Airbnb. That's really when your brand is going to the next level. What do you want to touch on that end, Tyler?
I don't know. Just become a verb.
Yeah. Which is hard. I think it takes.
Yeah. These are obviously the biggest companies in those specific areas or markets. So that's basically once you conquered it, and yeah, it's tough, very tough.
You really have to put in years and years and years of work and change the market drastically. So something to shoot for, not necessarily going to happen in your first 5 years of business. I can't just say, just go Bennett Creative Media that content or whatever it might be. So
you got to have that name that rolls off the tongue.
Exactly.
Shoot for the stars, aim for the land on the moon.
I like that saying. There we go. We're back into the sayings. We were missing that for a couple weeks there. So I just realized we're talking a lot about branding. I don't know how much of the selling we've really got into, but all of this stuff contradicts the selling aspect of the business. All of this is important to bring sales in on the back end. And that's really the point of this episode, is to realize that you can't just talk about sales, push for sales, ask for sales. There needs to be some branding where you're providing value for your audience that doesn't necessarily say, hey, buy my product. Hey, buy my product, buy my service, pay me money. People are going to get sick and tired of that if all it is sale. So once you start to create this brand, you look at Red Bull. Red Bull has like different series where they're jumping out of planes. Their brand is just extreme things. You know what I mean? And on the back end, it brings in sales to their energy drink because people want to live that lifestyle. They want to think that they can ride a dirt bike and jump over 15 cars. They want to think they can jump out of a hot air balloon that's in outer space. So they've created that brand in all of those videos, and all of that content and those events that they're throwing have nothing to do with them asking you if you will buy Red Bull. It's just their branding. They're creating their brand. That's how they want you to feel. And then on the other end, they obviously run ads that says, hey, 2 for $4 Red Bulls, come get them at the store, or whatever it might be. So I think they need to pair together, but that's why I think branding is so much, not more important, but it's so important to go hand in hand with sales.
Yeah, a brand sells itself once you get to that stage. You know exactly what you're getting. I think we touched on this, but I think at the same time, maybe when you're running ads or when you're trying to run promotions, there's the low funnel and high funnel type of campaigns that you can run, where one's going to be selling, that's going to be lower funnel, where you're going to say, buy my stuff. And the other one's going to be high funnel, where you're just trying to get brand awareness, people to understand what your brand is and who you are. And I don't know about you, but I was getting a lot of Cuts. Have you heard of them?
Yep. I almost
Cuts
bought some of their stuff, actually.
Yeah, I feel like it was more high funnel type stuff where it's getting their brand awareness out, but they were literally everywhere. And that's the difference between branding and selling, and, trying to get your brand awareness out there and trying to sell.
Yeah, like I actually heard from Cuts from a bunch of different YouTubers. YouTubers would sponsor, their video would be sponsored by Cuts, and they'd pretty much talk about, hey, like this is the best t-shirt that I wear when I'm filmmaking. It's super flexible, it's super stretchy, and like I love Cuts, whatever. That's now going into the branding, saying, okay, the people that I'm like are also wearing this stuff. It's not necessarily saying, hey, 10% off Cuts if you go to their store right now. But it's just explaining their brand a little bit. There is a little bit of sales in there because I'm sure these influencers do promo codes, but you kind of get the idea.
I feel like Cuts and I would have a good partnership here.
Yeah, I'm going to reach out to them.
That I like.
Let's see if they can sponsor this podcast. That'd be sick, actually.
Yeah, that'd be sweet. I'd wear their. I don't buy much clothes. I'm not a big buyer. I don't know about you. I feel like you are. You buy shit like nonstop. You probably get drunk and just go on a buying spree.
I used to be somewhat of a fashionista where I'd want to buy a bunch of clothes, but I have so many clothes now that I could pretty much come up with any outfit right now. But majority of the time, you just see me in sweatshirts and hats on this show. But yeah,
too many decisions.
You throw me in a downtown city, man. Oof, game over. Let's see what else we got on the notes here before we get into the business idea. I'm looking at these. We touched on a lot of them, Tyler. Strong brand name becomes more trusted, reputable source online. So we talked about that. If you're building this brand up and people start to believe that you're a trustworthy company, you're going to be more trustworthy to new customers, more reliable. People are going to trust that their products are going to get there, or that their service is going to get done the way that it's intended to be done. Is there anything you want to touch on that end?
No, I agree with that. I think basically how you have your business, people come to you and they know what to expect, and because that's what you've been consistently doing, and they come to know and expect it. And that's the same thing with all these other big brands. With Google, you're going to get your question answered if you go to Google. If you get a iPhone, you know exactly what you're getting. You're getting the same phone from 10 years ago with slight upgrades each and every iteration.
And different look.
Exactly. And then Airbnb, I feel like Airbnb is starting to switch a little bit. Now you're getting this cool little place out in the middle of nowhere, but you're now getting hundreds of dollars of upcharges for cleaning fees and all this random stuff. It's Airbnb. I don't know what you're doing, man.
But yeah, Airbnb shoot himself in the foot. But yeah, I mean, if it takes time to get to where these companies are at, and it's really just years and years of being consistent, showing up every day for your customer, and building that brand. Doing the same thing. You want your brand to look the same in year 2, how it did in year 6. Obviously, there can be a little bit different changes. Maybe there's a slight rebrand, or you go different directions, but the core values are the same.
Yeah, same product and service, just better quality.
I'm going to go into the business idea, Tyler. I think. What do you think?
I think that's a great idea. I hope you came prepared, because
none of these business ideas I've really came 100% prepared, but I had this conversation over the weekend, and I actually had a business. I didn't have a business idea. My dad gave me a business idea. I love the idea, but I'm not going to share it because I don't know if he actually wants to run with it. So if he doesn't, I'll maybe talk about it in a couple weeks, but I'll tell you off air for sure, Tyler. But I was talking, there was someone in town in Minot this weekend, and they were in my house, and they were like, oh, I like your interior design. It looks nice. And they were pretty much saying like, hey, I like interior design too, but I just don't, I don't know where to start. I don't know what to do. So really, this is a service, and I'm sure it's out there somewhere, but an interior design company where they pretty much set everything up for you and give you different options. So if I go to Tyler Sinden Design and say, here's my styles. Almost like, you know what Stitch Fix is? So Stitch Fix is it's a website that ships you clothes every month, and you go and you take a personality test, like a quiz of what you like. So it's like, here's the clothes I like, and they'll show you pictures, you know? The pictures are a pair of jeans, and then there's a pair of like, you know, wider jeans, whatever it might be. And then you take this quiz and it puts together a style guide for you. And then it will send you clothes so you don't have to go out and shop for them, because you might not know what to buy. You don't know what looks good together, and they have personalized stylists that do it for you. So the iteration of this business is someone to do that for interior design or designing your house. So maybe you take this personality test, this quiz, and they put 2 pictures of rooms up. Okay, I like this room better. I like this room better. Okay, now I like these cabinets better. I like this cabinet, and I like these countertops, whatever it might be. And maybe it's something that's more targeted towards people that are building homes. They're building their home from scratch. They have all these different ideas. I know that's something I run into. I go on Pinterest. I like so many different things that my mind is just a absolute fucked up mess up there that I don't know what I like. So if there was this streamlined process that you could take this quiz, this test, and they would give you a brief of whatever it might be. Maybe you only do it for one room. Maybe you do it for your whole house. But they would show you all the styles that you like and come up with a design and show you the cost. Okay, you can get this at XYZ company for this much. If you don't want to spend that much, here's 2 alternatives for cheaper, or here's a nicer one for more. Maybe it's an app or a website where you put your budget in. Hey, I have $10,000 to do my upstairs. And then they have to find different sources. They have to source these products from different places to come up with this. And there would be some logistical things on the back end. Maybe you could make partnerships with a different store. If I make a partnership with IKEA, I can be like, okay, well, I'll put your guys' products in here, but you know, if XYZ company wants to do it, maybe they want 3% of all the cuts I send to you guys, whatever it might be. But that's kind of the premise of it. A design company that people don't have to go on Photoshop and do it themselves, or make a list of the things they like, or a Pinterest board, whatever it might be, and more of a Stitch Fix for interior design. What
So
problems do you see?
Is it more of a software or an AI doing this?
I think it would be, yeah, I don't know. Unless there's like Stitch Fix has personal stylists that know about clothes. So maybe there's interior designers that are hired on the company or freelance for the company. And it's like you get the freelancer gets 4% of whatever it might be. I don't know how the model would work, the payout model, but
because in that case, I feel like that's already around one of the clients that we have. They're wanting to implement basically this, where it's an online e-design service where someone can come to them and say, hey, I'm designing my living room and I want some help picking out the decor there. They will offer them a few different solutions, but it's more meet with them, figure out their service. Whereas what I think would basically get rid of designers' needs is creating like a software or an AI where it's pick these 2 different images and then it's going to see what you like, and then pick these 2 different images, see what you like. And then it goes through a whole process. It goes through a whole process. And once you get to the end, it comes up with a design. Maybe it comes up with 5 of them and says, what do you like best? And then, do you like any of these? And if you don't like any of these, which ones do you prefer? And then maybe it comes up with a new iteration. And I think if it were that, I think it would be a little bit better, because then you don't have the labor costs for designers. And it's just basically a service where anyone can come here and maybe only charge like $100. And it's a fraction of the price for going out and hiring a designer. Yeah. And it's literally a 5-minute quiz that you got to take, 5-10-minute quiz. So I think having it as a software would be a better or more viable solution, especially because this already exists. Yeah.
I figured it probably exists somewhere, but what you could do to make it better. I think a software or an AI might be the way to do it, because then you're minimizing so many costs. And then the only staff you have is, maybe the marketing team, whatever it might be, but people that
engineers.
People that are growing the business, some customer service, maybe something like that. But Yeah. I mean, I like the idea of AI. Do you know any people that can code this for us?
We'll start learning.
Yeah. I don't ever want to learn coding. I'll tell you that much. Well, I mean, it's not
Have you
my
heard about
worst
Chat?
idea.
Yeah, we got to a point where it wasn't bad. We good.
Hey, that's what we're on the show for, man. We bring shit up and we make it not bad. Like,
Well, it's just like saying
get
I want to
done.
come up with a phone company that, you know, it already exists. So it's coming up with an idea that doesn't potentially already exist. Maybe it does already exist and we just don't know. But I think having the software, the AI aspect of it makes it a little bit more unique and less cost.
And I wonder, I don't know if this exists with the client that you're working with, but I like the comparison thing because a lot of times it's like, hey, there's this cool rug. I really love that rug, but I'm not paying $500 for a rug. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, here's a couple similar rugs that is $89, $120.
Yeah, that would be wild if it could surf the internet and find you thousands of, you know, from different places too. It's like Wayfair, Amazon, and all these different websites. And it just gathers all these or different products from different websites and places. I think that would be wild. That's another step up.
That would be, that was the main thing that I was like, it would have to
Right,
source
some
from other
iterations.
places. Yeah. Because there's a lot of things I like, and I'm like, God, I don't want to spend that kind of money for it. That's not worth it. It's just a cabinet, you know what I mean? But and that's where the time suck comes from. Finding the alternatives that are similar can take up so much time. Whereas if there was a lot of times I would pay, I don't know how much I'd pay, but I'd pay amount of money to not have to go through all that, to not search to find a similar rug or search to find a similar lamp that's not $300.
Maybe this is the new idea or next week's business idea. It's like, I want an L desk, surf the web, and find me the best offers.
I'm sure that one's out there, but
you think?
I don't know. There's companies that search for, they compare prices, and it's like, hey,
but you got to actually put in the work. Like I could search Google and search L desk, and then I could, you know, sift through all of them. Go on IKEA, look through all of them. Go on Wayfair, look through all of them. Go on Amazon, look through all of them.
I think
want to be like, hey, search the whole internet.
I think there's a service that says if you're about to buy something, if you're about to buy an L desk, it'll pop up and say, hey, no, you can get this one for this much cheaper. I think. I don't know what it's called.
On this website?
There's a website like that. I don't know what it's called, but I've seen ads for it before.
But it'll be like, you don't want to buy it from this place. You want to buy it from this website. Is that what it says?
And I don't know if it's the same product or not, but I don't know. I'd have
Interesting. Okay.
But yeah, that's, I mean, not a bad idea. Anything else you want to touch on?
We got somewhere.
Before we get out of here, I'm just glad that you have next week's business ideas. I can't keep
Man, this was your idea too. You got to keep coming up with them. It's not hard.
It is.
Hey,
I don't think outside the box.
Maybe you don't need to. It's just creating a product and making it better.
Making something better. Yeah, you're right. Tyler, anything you want to touch on?
That is everything, Easton.
Cool.
Anything you want to touch on?
Nope, I don't think so. I do not think so. We're pretty accurate at hitting that 50 to an hour mark right in that window. So let's keep the streak going. That's episode 16, yeah?
Yes.
That's episode 16 of The Midnight Entrepreneur. If you have any questions you'd like us to cover or answer, you can email us at themidnightentrepreneur@gmail.com. If you found value in this content or found this entertaining, share this with a friend or post it on your story. If you really enjoyed the show, we'd love a rating and a review on wherever you're listening. Talk to you guys next week for another episode of The Midnight Entrepreneur.